Our proposal for the new Senate building of the Philippines is based on three primary goals. Number one, to design a building representing democratic values that is open and accessible to the public, enabling public discourse, debate, dialogue, and exchange of ideas. Number two, to design a building that is sustainable, representing respect to the environment and Philippine biodiversity, highly functional, while at the same time resilient and an enriching and enjoyable place to be. Number three, to design a building that symbolizes and embraces the cultural diversity of the Philippines. We are dividing the site into two halves, with one half being occupied by the executive and administrative buildings which, following the given program, we call buildings A and B, and the other half, on the opposite side of the site, with the public buildings and other programs, buildings C and D. Buildings A and B contain all areas requiring the highest security control and are therefore clearly separated from the rest of the program. Buildings C and D contain all publicly accessible areas or areas of lower security concern. This configuration allows for maximum security as it separates the public from the private program areas. This configuration also allows for a strong image of the two fundamental entities of a democratic system, the elected officials on one side and the general public on the other, with a zone in between for communication and exchange between those entities. Therefore, the program areas that allow or require access by both groups are designed as connecting bridges and, most importantly, symbolizing the dialogue and exchange between the elected officials and the general public. The central and most important of these bridging program elements is the plenary and session hall, allowing the senators and executives as well as the administrative personnel to enter from the highly secured site of building A and B, while the public and press enters from the public buildings C and D. The symbolic significance is apparent, and this is where the exchange, discourse, debate, and negotiation of politics is visually manifest, accessible, and transparent. Other bridging program areas are the museum, the library, and ceremonial hall. The way the program of the new Senate building is organized, Building A being situated above Building B and Building C above Building D, allows for generous sky gardens well above street level to act as a buffer zone and communication spaces for the different programs. The senators in Building A will access the elevated sky garden level that the administrators below will have access to as well. From here, one can access the various bridges. The buildings are primarily reinforced concrete structures lined with a louvered, intelligent, automated solar control and shading facade, which at the same time mitigates security threats as it eliminates views into the building itself. The identity and iconic uniqueness of this building is apparent, and its symbolic power as a building representing the complex processes of a democratic, multifaceted society as the Philippines is the goal of this architectural strategy.